Welcome to GME Admin Insights, the podcast dedicated to the GME community. I'm your host, Natasha Brox, and I'm thrilled to be back here with you today. I'll talk a lot about professional development, connections, and networking. And I like to have people on the podcast that bring insight and helpful information to the GME community. And with that said, today's guest is just the person I want to introduce you to, Melissa Molina Trinidad. Melissa is a highly experienced senior resident program coordinator for general surgery residents at Columbia University Irving Medical Center. She has a strong background in graduate medical education and has been actively involved in various organizations within the health care and medical education field for several decades. Currently, she holds the position of chair of the Council of Program Administrators and Coordinators, which is COPA, from the Association for Hospital Medical Education. Everybody knows Omni, a significant leadership organization within the GME community. Melissa's expertise and dedication has allowed her to present at multiple conferences and engage in collaboration efforts with other colleagues. She is a founder and immediate past chair of the 8th chapter of the National Association of Latino Healthcare Executive, Tri-State, and the first to be in the Northern region. She was the 2022 national recipient of the Association Chapter Leader of the Year Award. Melissa has been serving as a chapter advisor, but is now on their national team as the director of chapter operations and is overseeing all 17 chapters, as well as helping with expansion efforts in other cities and states across the U.S. What an achievement. She is also involved in the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee for the American College of Healthcare Executives, Healthcare Leaders of New York, and is a candidate to becoming a fellow. Yay! Melissa is also dedicated and accomplished professional with a community to healthcare, medical, education, diversity, and inclusion, as well as membership. Her leadership role and involvement in various healthcare organizations highlights her expertise and contributions to the field. She received her master's degree in business administration from Mercy College in New York and her bachelor's degree in healthcare management in the State University of New York, Stony Brook University, with a minor in women's studies. It's all about the females. She became TAGME certified in 2021 and is currently working on getting her Black belt for the Six Sigma Global Institution, and that will be an accomplishment. She is into a lot, but this is my friend, Melissa. Welcome to GME Admin Insights, Melissa. I am so glad you are here.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, wow. You have done a lot, you accomplished a lot, and you continue to do a lot. You know, when me and Melissa first met, it was basically via LinkedIn. You know, we had similar goals, ambitions, and we kept running in the same circle. And I'm like, this girl, she got something. She's a go-getter. You know, she's doing a lot and a lot of things, as I mentioned. Um, then one day she reached out to me and was like, "Oh, you want to present a nominee?" And I'm like, "Oh, sure." It blew my mind. I'm like, "This girl knows me." Oh, but you know, today is about Melissa. So, first question, Melissa, you've done so many amazing things throughout your career. Tell us your journey.
Okay, Brook University, majored in healthcare management, and of course, you think directly, administrative, manager, operations. You think that type of title is what you're going to be doing. And unfortunately, it was during the recession that we had, so it was hard for me to find a job.
Mm.
And I worked retail for about 2.5, 3 years trying to get my foot into healthcare. I honestly thought it wasn't going to happen because I applied everywhere, but times were rough.
Hmm.
And then what ended up happening was that one of my sorority sisters was like, "Hey, Melissa, I have another job opportunity. I'm leaving this one. Can you hop in?" I hopped in, and it wasn't graduate medical education yet. It was just, an administrative assistant for the emergency department.
Okay.
But I was also responsible for, I was a community center. So I was responsible for printing out the BLS, ACLS, PALS, ATLS cards.
Hmm.
And I'm like, these cards, nursing, residents, okay, okay. This is interesting. I even got my own BLS card. And just by great customer service on the phone, as I was unfortunately had to be let go due to budget cuts
Oh,
based on my great customer service. Someone on the phone was like, "Hey, I need this card." I'm like, "Sure, absolutely. It will be sent to you immediately. Just FYI, I am gonna be no longer be here until Friday." And just because of that phone call, that individual worked in GME at another hospital.
wow.
And she was like, "That young lady, where is she? Because I have an opening available for, a residency program, and I think that she will be the right fit." And communication happened. I didn't know her from a hole in the wall, and she just gave me the opportunity because of a phone call conversation. I interviewed. I, for one, didn't know what GME meant. I didn't know what a resident was because that is not something that we learn in school, nor is it really talked about unless you're into Grey's Anatomy or now The Resident.
Right, exactly.
I wasn't into the Grey's Anatomy, so I was clueless. But I was like, "Hey, you know what? I need a job, and this is an opportunity for me to get my feet wet and step into a hospital." And I thankfully they liked me, they hired me, and it was a learning curve. But I made it happen. I made it work, and I fell in love with what being a program coordinator meant.
Right, right. But you know
Yeah.
what? It also goes back to your professionalism. Like you did your job to the T. You didn't complain when you're on the phone, and they noticed that. And you did when you said you was gonna do it, you did it, and they're like, I like that.
Yes. I mean, I could have been like vindictive and be like, not pick up the phone or not, say, "Hey, you know what does it matter to me?" But I just think that, ethics is so important, regardless whether it's good or bad. It's your reputation, it is your name. You do
Right,
the best job you can from start to finish.
right.
And no complaints, just it's just that mindset that one needs to have. It's never
Mm.
going to be perfect, but it's your reputation. And
Yeah.
I always say, like, in healthcare, it may be big, but it's also small, and word gets around. So
True.
so it's very, very important to do a good job and do the best that you can. If you don't know something, ask. And I definitely asked because I'm like, I don't know, who can I rely on, who can help me. And thankfully the GME office and the other coordinators with experience helped me into that role and really assembled, what I needed to know. And the program director also helped me. And then, how we always say, the first year is always the toughest. The second year gets easier. By the third year, you're a pro. And that's exactly what happened. And that was my first OMFS residency program coordinator position.
Oh, wow. Wow. Off of a phone call. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy, but things happen like that, especially when you maintain a certain way, and you don't waver and you have that ethics. Um, and they heard it all in your voice. So they were like, "Oh yeah, let's give this girl a chance. She does her job, she does it right, she doesn't complain." They stepped out on a limb and look at you today.
I would have never thought that this would be my career trajectory. I honestly would have never
Really?
imagined. Never, never. I mean,
What
like
did
I
you
said,
want to do? What you at that time, what did you want to do or be?
I wanted to be like a department administrator. Like
Mm,
that to me was something that I feel like everyone talks about being a manager or an administrator. Those are like the top two choices.
yeah.
Um, and so that was my vision. But then, GME just kind of came around and took me in.
Yeah.
And I've been thankful. I have experienced in three different programs, in two different institutions, and it's so rewarding just seeing
Yeah.
the residents grow in their career from when, interview season to when they
Hmm.
match to when they, it's just so beautiful. And I also thought, I should have gone into like academics, university, but at the same time, this is, medical academics.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have summers off. Summers is, our busy season.
Right.
But it's just so rewarding, and I'm thankful for, the residents that I have met, that I have, after have become really good friends with and
Mm,
still keep in touch with. And just seeing them grow in their profession and, following them on LinkedIn,
yeah.
or, texting during the holidays is just so beautiful and
Yeah.
rewarding.
That is true. That is true. I like that. I love um, being around residents, especially like you said, when they interview and then they match, and they're on your team, and you have them for like 3 years. And then after that, well, I know we're a 3-year program. And then after that is like, especially if they stay on, like I had out of 6, I had 5 stay on. And I'm like you're still here. And the laughter, oh, let's go to lunch, let's do, and then watching their kids grow up. It's like and now they're helping in the our GME department and things like that. So you really do create a bond with them. It's so great. Um, so clearly you are so passionate about your career and what you're doing, especially from your intro. Why do you think that is?
Uh, I think it's the grit, the passion, the no excuses, you got to keep going.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think that is because my parents are immigrants and I just saw them. So
Mm.
I'm like pushing, like always keep pushing, always keep thriving, do the best, do more.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. And GME is it's almost like the same thing every day, but every day is different. You know, it's like you never know what's going to happen today, but you know what's going to happen today. It's a cycle in itself, but every day is totally different. It's like, okay, what's next? What am I doing today? Like, so yeah. And then like you're just going leaps and bounds. You are just doing a lot. Now, I know on your LinkedIn, I saw that you were a member of the National Association of Latino Healthcare, like we said. And I think, we're both a part of American College of Healthcare Executives, which I didn't know that you were until I saw that, because I'm in the Arizona chapter here. So tell me more about like your role and what you do for the Latino chapter.
Yes, awesome. So the National Association of Latino Healthcare Executives, also known as NALE,
Mhm.
was founded in 2005, all the way like in the California area.
Oh.
Um, so funny enough, I've been a part of, NAHSC, I've been a part of ACHE, but at the same time, I somehow felt like there was something missing.
Mm.
And funny enough, well, not funny enough, I guess, but during the pandemic, there was an event on Zoom called the Cafecito, which is like coffee break, right?
Oh, okay.
And one of the ones that were getting interviewed was a Latina CEO that I know from New York that went to California. So they had a cafecito chat with her. And
Mm.
then I'm like, what is Nale? What is this? What is this organization? I want it. And then this was in like the end of 2020. And I contacted Nationals and I said, we need this in New York. How can we make it happen? And they were like, okay, well, be a leader, create the tri-state chapter. I'm like, okay, you got it. I recruited my sorority sisters in healthcare. And then, they gave me some names from other people from different states, and I created my board. I always throw in, I'm a sorority girl. I'm from Omega Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. So to me, it's like creating chapters, operations, those kind of
Mhm.
logistical components to me are a piece of cake. You know, I think we were I think we may have been the fastest chapter to be created because I
Wow.
don't play games.
Oh,
From like the end of December, we became a chapter by the beginning of February.
oh wow.
Um,
That is quick.
and yes, it was very quick, and it was just like, you know what, we need this organization in the Northeast. Especially we have a lot of Latinos. And I was just like, yes, let's champion this. And then we basically had Zoom events every month. And it's just basically the National Association of Latino Healthcare Executives wants to be the go-to organization for Latinos and allies. You know, it's a place of belonging, a place of community, a place of collaboration, networking, you know, etc. So by doing that, you know, and creating that momentum, it has trickled down to other chapters being, you know, created.
Oh,
And then nationals reached out to me in October of last year, stating, you know, whether I wanted to join the nationals operations team. And we created the title of Director of Chapter Operations. So I am now overseeing the 17 chapters,
wow.
currently working on 5 to 6 new potential expansion. But this is honestly like so much fun to be a part of, you know, an
Mhm.
organization and to collaborate and come up with ideas. And you know, I'm all about streamlining processes to make it easier for everybody and just bringing everybody together. And thankfully, the organization has been able to give me direct access to like C-level sweet people.
Oh, wow. That's
Latinos.
great. That's always great.
Yes. So I have, you know, Latina CEO like friends, mentors as well. So definitely I appreciate them, you know, and you know, they you know, I celebrate them and they
Mhm.
come and celebrate me as well. And so it's just beautiful the opportunity that an organization can do for you if you know, do the right steps, you know, to really like putting yourself out there authentically
Mhm.
and coming up with programming ideas or community services and just connecting with everyone.
Right. Wow. Wow. Can I get some CEO friends?
Hey, yes, I could put them on your dial.
I know. But that's great though, because like you, one, you sought it out. You know, you didn't just say, "What is it?" Oh, and then leave it alone. You actually was like, "Okay, what is this?" Oh, you learned about it. You know what? We need that here, and you actively worked to create it. And look what came about. I love that. You know, I interviewed someone, one of my friends. Her name is Tiffany Brown, and that's what she called a boss babe. She was like, "This is you're a boss babe." So I'm like, "Yes, this is a boss babe move. You're a boss. You know, you made it happen. You actively, you know, went and created and morphed it into what it is today." That I know that took like a lot of work. Was it stressful? Like you
Well,
going through all the steps, or is it something that you enjoy doing?
I enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
I like to me, I found it to be a passion project, and now being on the nationals team, it's another passion project. You know, like I said, it's collaborating and networking, and you know, and also helping others come together as well. So,
Right.
you know, I even at American College of Healthcare Executives
Mm-hmm.
in New York chapter, I'm known as the Nale girl. You know, and
Oh,
I'm like, hi,
okay.
you know, like they know me as Nale because I advocated for us to be at an event. I'm advocating for us to collaborate in other efforts and also with NHSC as well, you know, creating that partnership, you know, starting and engaging in conversations. And that
Yeah.
to me, like at first, I will say I didn't know how to have a conversation. I
Mhm.
remember starting off and it's like my mentor was like, okay, here you go. Like he brought me to an event. Okay. And I'm like, what do I do? What do I say? But
Right.
he's like, go network. He's like, go network. And at that time, LinkedIn wasn't as hot as it is now.
Mhm.
So it was like business cards, and I'm like, I don't have a business card. I'm not even like, I'm like, I felt like I was just wasn't important. But
Um,
but you know, now it's just like I'm ready. I'm ready.
Mhm.
I know what to say. I know how to engage. My LinkedIn is up to date. I always emphasize to the early careerists, make sure your LinkedIn is up to date.
Mhm.
Shake hands, engage is about them,
Yes.
in a little bit about you, and try to build and make those connections. And I'm like, but by you connecting with people doesn't necessarily mean that you're winning. No, you have to foster a
Yeah.
relationship to basically have that network opportunity and that connection, right? Because me hitting you up to connect with you wasn't going to take me anywhere. It was actually messaging you and us having a conversation.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Mhm.
I say that all the time. Just because you network with somebody and you may exchange information and you may talk, what's going on after that? Like, what are you going to do after that? You reach out to them one time. You it's a partnership, it's a relationship. You have to continue to message them, talk to them, hey this, hey that. You just can't meet somebody and that's it. And then when you need them maybe a year or two later, hey, remember we met here? Even I would be like, yeah, I remember, but what do you want? So you have to foster those relationships because it happened to my PD and he was just like, it was 3 years ago, so if you yeah. So if you don't continue to grow that relationship, then um just if you do need them or if you want some advice, they're not going to remember you, and if they do, it's maybe for a negative reason, not the reason that you want them to remember you by. So always honing in those relationships and having them grow and continue to communicate is always key because you never know when you'll need them or if they'll need you. It's not a
Yeah,
one-way street.
no, absolutely, 1000%. And what I enjoy, I think, the most is like mentoring and connecting people.
Yeah.
So for example, someone reached out to me while I was at an ACHE event, and he was like, I know you from somewhere. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. And we connected there. And then he was like, let's have a one-on-one. I'm like, awesome. So we had a one-on-one on the phone and I got to know him more. And I was just like, okay, he's looking for a mentor. I think I have the perfect mentor for him. And
Hmm.
then I made the introduction, and now there, I'm like, I partnered them up. And to me, I find that to be
Yeah.
rewarding because like this is someone that is in the field that he wants to get into, and I may not be the best source, but I know
Right.
someone who can.
Right. That is
Mhm.
the power of networking. It makes a great impact on different people or even within different communities. Um, and like you said, you've connected people with other people that can help them. What has networking helped you in your personal or professional journey?
Networking. I guess that's a good question. Let's see. Um, basically utilized my networking, my networking tools for
Mm,
organizational purposes,
okay. Okay.
not for like my professional gain. Funny enough.
No, not even gain, just like, professionally, you meet somebody, you guys are networking, and they're like, you know what? I got something for you. Well, I guess it kind of happened when you were on the phone though, too, and got
Yeah,
started in me.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that may have been just like the only thing. Because
Okay.
whenever I've gone somewhere, it's because I've applied or because someone that I know I'm friends with is like, hey, I'm vouching for her. So it's always good to, I guess, be a good friend, be a
True,
good honest friend, because they will also look out for you.
true.
um then like for example, with when it came to my Colombia move, it was my sorority sister, another one that was like, hey, HR called me about this position and I thought of you. And it was like, okay. So I once again, yes, networking does have a good push and pull,
Yeah.
for opportunities, but I also is about those ties, those friends, those
Yes.
relationships,
Yes.
because you just never know, who's looking, or who's not
So
looking. And
so true.
what I tend to do on LinkedIn is if I see a job opening, I will forward it to a group chat just because I don't know who is looking.
Hmm.
But, hey, this is an opportunity that I came across that maybe they know somebody, but it's just, just to help each other out.
Right, right. I love to network. I love to network because you never know who needs what. That's one of the best things about networking. You can help so many people out. You can help, you don't even know that they're interested. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, I saw this. Oh, yeah, let me help you out here. You know how the saying back in the day, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Absolutely.
And that's so true because it's like, oh, if you know me, oh, and I know them, hey, why don't you go over here? Well, talk to so and so. So I think networking is so powerful, so powerful. So if you don't network, start networking. Okay, so let's talk about COPA. You're the chair of that. Tell us more about how you got started, your journey, and where it has taken you since being a chair.
So the COPAC is a Council of Program Administrators and Coordinators from AMI. I was introduced to them in 2018. I was introduced, I went to the AMI Institute because that's when I became an internal medicine residency coordinator. And the institute, which is known as their conference, was amazing. It was in Savannah, Georgia. And I just loved the content, the tools, everything, from start to finish. I was just blown away by all the information that they provided. And shortly after then, I was like, okay, I want to be involved. I want to be a part of COPAC. And I attended their sessions, their learning tools, et cetera, et cetera. And then I was like, funny enough, I was what's it called, postpartum, right? And they had an opening for a COPAC like chair elect. And I'm like, I'm gonna apply. So I applied, like what I think I must have been like 4 or 5 months, out of being pregnant. And I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna apply. I applied, interviewed, they liked my application, and then I worked with the chair elect. So basically, as you can tell, there's like nothing holding me down, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Um, and it was just great. It's been a great organization to be a part of, to learn from, specifically just the COPAC community and its efforts into, the GME world, and
Mhm.
sharing best practices and development, and, learning from each other and collaborating, what's it called, leading webinars, and as well as presenting at the AMI Institute. So that's basically in the gist. If you're not a part of AMI, I think that, and and you're a program coordinator or administrator, I definitely suggest you check them out.
Yes.
They've been around since like the 1960s, but overall, it's just been very instrumental for even
Mhm.
my gain as a program coordinator. So even though I'm senior, I still will go to them and just be like, okay, how can I sharpen my tools? What can I do better? What are best practices that other organizations are doing that
Right.
I can bring forth to my organization? So definitely something that I'm very excited about. This is my first year as chair, and I'm sorry, this is my second year as chair. That's crazy how time flies.
Yeah.
Um, and then, just being involved. I feel like, it's another passion project of mine.
So many. That's why I said you're killing it. You have a lot going on, but it's all a great thing. It's good. It's like you are net this is part of networking because you're growing and you're learning. That's one thing that I love about different societies and associations and being a part of any committees because you get to sharpen your skills and use them and then maybe teach somebody else.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to get involved with a committee or association, what are your thoughts on that? Like, should they not? And if so, like, give me some insight on that.
Okay, I will be the first to advocate and state that joining a committee or an organization as such is definitely a must.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you have, the bandwidth, no pressure. But I do think that being a part of a committee really it's a foot into the door as to what the expectation is, the
Mm,
work that goes behind the scenes, you know, to then later potentially become that leader or to become that chair or to, you know,
yeah.
move next to the next phase. I just think that joining a committee is just always a good stepping stone to just learn the organization, how it runs, how it moves, you know,
Mm,
without that added responsibility in a sense, right?
yeah.
That accountability. But at
Yes.
the same time, the purpose is that to, you know, move up, you know, to, you know, engage and become a leader. You know, being a
Bro.
committee, you're leading,
Yes.
but the name or the responsibility doesn't solely fall on you, it falls on
Right.
everyone, right? But then when you're actually like leading the committee, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I am responsible.
When you're in the committee, like you said, is it doesn't just fall on you, but then you know the steps and you know what to do and what not to do and how to do it, and how to disagree without really disagreeing. You know, it's like it teaches you how to be that leader, especially like a senior leader or director type of role. It teaches you while you're in that committee as you grow. So, yes, I'm with you. Being on a committee, it will teach you so much more than just being a program coordinator or administrator. Because even you could take those skills in your job and still use it. So, until you grow to your next level, you can still be honing them and getting them to like for you, because you know everyone's different. They use it different ways. They develop it different ways. So it just teaches you a lot of different things. So yeah, I'm with you. Like, if you can be on a committee and if you want to and if you want to grow, like whatever you're interested in, reach out and just do it. And I know you've been building yourself up professionally for a long time. What would you tell anyone who wants to grow professionally? Like any tips or suggestions you would give them?
So definitely once again, join organizations. It looks great on your resume. It shows that you're well-rounded, you know. Another thing is, if anything, seek mentorship.
Hmm.
I think that that's very critical and important for
Yes.
anyone to navigate in any role, not just, you know, the GME world, but in any aspect. Um, I think that one thing I would always tell people is be an active learner.
Mm,
And you never know everything, you know.
yeah.
And I think that by you being an active learner, you're learning new skills, you're being open-minded, you're being challenged,
Mm,
you are you know, putting things into practice, putting things into perspective, and you're also showing your capability, your skill set, you're enhancing your toolbox, you're
yeah.
expanding your knowledge. So I would say just be an active learner, you know, look into certifications,
Mm,
accelerated programs, any, like right now I'm currently working on my black belt. I also have been looking into potential PhD programs.
mhm,
Um,
yeah.
and it's like, Melissa, when are you going to stop? And it's like, no, I want more. I
Mhm.
want more. But
Yes.
you know, it's to me, and I know you, Natasha, you've also are, and I've congratulated you as well because of all the achievements that you've made.
Hmm.
And so the great thing is, you know, like celebrating each other, learning from each other,
Yes.
collaborating, and
Yes.
continuously being that active learner. You know,
Yes.
reading books, opening your mind, expanding. There are some free programs out there
Mhm.
that, you know,
Mhm.
that doesn't have to come out of pocket. Hopefully, if your institution can pay for certain certifications, that would be awesome. For example, at Columbia, I took emerging leadership program that was about, I think it was a 6-month program, and I ended up getting a certificate from Columbia University.
Mm,
So look into, you know, look into your HR, you know, what benefits you have for education. If not, there's a lot free stuff out there. Make yourself marketable,
mhm.
make yourself stand out. I think that
Yes.
it's prime real estate.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree because I know a lot of people would be like, well, if they're not paying me, to do these things, I'm not going to do it. Or like you said, like I'm not going to pay for this. And you know what I say? Like, even if you pay for it, you take it with you. This is not for them, it's for your growth. You can take that certification with you. You can take that black belt with you. You are not doing it for this institution, you're doing it for you. And
Yes.
that's how you grow. Like when I decided to get, I got my black belt. When I decided to do that, I was like, huh. I had just gotten that certified healthcare program management, no program, what was it?
PMP.
Project management. Yeah, project management. And but it was for me. It was like, oh, I just want to do this, it's on the healthcare side. It wasn't a PMP, but it's still for the healthcare, kind of like a PMP. I learned so much from it that I use in my current job. I use what I've learned. We manage programs all the time anyway. We manage projects. One project after another. So I learned so many new things to use when on my day-to-day projects. And then I was like, okay, the black belt. I'm like, oh my God, I've learned like it, you just when you learn, like, oh, I'm gonna start doing that. And then,
Mhm.
it was like lean. I'm like, oh, I can save some money. So it's like when you continue to learn, like you were saying, you and start using them in your current job or, your professional development or to go to the next level, you can take all that stuff with you. It's your learning, your skills, your everything, and use it to boost you. I so continue to learn. I think it's a great thing. I don't think I'll stop learning either. And then I wanted to touch on this real quick. I know a lot of people was like, oh well, you know, get a degree. You're not using it. You're still a program coordinator with a bachelor's, with a master's, with a PhD. I know so many people. What would you say to that?
I would say the degree is me, right? The
Yes,
degree is me.
yes,
It's an investment that I've made towards myself
yes,
that no one can take away. And fine, I'm in the GME world. There's no shame in that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I,
don't boggle down and make it seem like what I do is not valid, nor does it need X, Y, and Z,
yes,
because it's not.
yes.
It's very important. And this is the funny thing. A lot of the people that are making these comments, I would say maybe I may be wrong, but it's because they don't know what we do.
So true. Oh my God, so true. So true. I do agree with you on that.
Be-
Yes.
because we have a lot of responsibility. We have a lot of access to things that are like key, like confidential.
Yes.
Um, what I enjoy about my role in GME, well, as a program coordinator, is that you're a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Like you're a little bit of HR, you're a little bit of policies, you're a little bit of, what's it called? Strategy, logisticals,
Yeah.
operations. Like you
Yes.
are a little bit of everything in
Yes.
which I don't think other jobs have, which in a way I feel that it's something that keeps me going.
Mm-hmm.
And because you know how your year is going to fluctuate, you're going to have your peaks, you're going to have your lows, you're going to
Yes.
have some pressing deadlines, and then it's a little bit slow. And then it just continuously evolves and moves. And to me, I find it to how can I make this better next year? Like, okay, these little bumps in the road, okay, I'm going
Mhm.
to do better next year, or I'm going to strategize and make this easier for me next year. Like the pandemic showed that we can work hybrid or remote, right?
Yes.
Um, I'm all about going electronic. I don't think there's a reason why I need to be faxing something to you
Right.
right now. Um, but like I
So
said,
true.
a lot of people, yeah, but like I said, a lot of people don't know what graduate medical education or program coordinator consists of, and I get that. But it truly is a fulfilling job that
Yes.
a lot have stayed in for 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
And you know um it continues to evolve, it continues to change, and it's how you make the best of it, whether it is you stay or you go, or you go to a
Mm-hmm.
different program, or you go to the GME side. But like I said, I technically think that a lot of people may
Yeah.
be like, why are you doing this? You're not important. But it's
Yes.
like, we are important. We
Yes,
are.
yeah. You know what? I used to always say, and I think I started off years ago about saying like they think we are like glorified secretaries, and that is
Oh,
not the case. You know, we are leaders. We are leaders because without
yeah.
us, there is no program. Let's get that straight. You
Mhm.
don't have us, you don't have a program, you know.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I know our institution, one of our, we have several hospitals, and one of our institutions was like, well, we need program coordinators, but we don't need program directors. And I was like,
Whoa. Whoa, I've never heard that one.
yeah, because it's ACGME requirement. You don't need a director. You need a program coordinator, and they run the show of their program. They
Yeah.
do everything. So, and I was like, oh, and it came from like the C-suite area. And I was like, oh, look, I'm glad my job is safe. But yeah, I was like, that is so true. You know, and of course I'm going back in. I'm like, yeah, that's right. They don't say anything about a director, but you need a program coordinator. So if we are key people, then it starts here. And I love know that you touched on the hybrid part of things because after pandemic, even through pandemic and now after, it's like we don't have to be in the office anymore. We don't have to go in, if we have certain meetings, of course, or a conference or whatnot. So what do you think? And I love this question because I want to hear what you have to say about it. Hybrid and professionalism. What do you think about that? When you're in a meeting and you're hybrid, do you keep the camera on or off?
I keep it on
Yes.
because I think that I need to show in our meeting that I am present, that, I'm virtually there. Because
Mhm.
I've seen takes when you're off camera, you're not paying attention, you're not engaging, you're not really in the meeting. Okay, I'm not trying to blow nobody's spot up, but it's very important because if not, then why be even attend a meeting? You
Right.
know, so I am hybrid, thank God. But whenever we have meetings, unless it's something urgent, I definitely have my camera on. I'm engaging, I am vocal, I am engaging on the chat because I want to show that I am there,
Right.
that the meeting is important.
Yeah.
Um, and that I'm present and I'm
Right.
active. So I
Right.
think that if anybody is hybrid, please put the cameras on. It's kind of rude to be off
Yes.
camera, because if not, then I will be off camera. We'll all be off camera, and then I really won't know who's there.
Right. So it'd be like a phone call, because
Yeah, we could have just had a phone
right.
conference. I mean, who does
Right.
that anyways?
Right. And then dress professional. Like even if you have to dress from the waist up professional, like be professional, I do remember there's one time, and I'm just gonna out myself. I was like, I don't feel like being on camera. And it was a GMAC meeting of all things. But I just didn't feel like it. And our DIO, he was like, see, you never know who's going through all the squares, right?
Mhm.
You never know who's going to see, oh, are they on camera? Are they not? And he was like, Natasha, I can't see your smiling face. And I said, oh, I already know what that means. Turn my camera on. And I was like, okay, Dr. Love, and I'm like turning it on. He's like, that's what I want to see. And, and I was like, just because I didn't feel like having my camera on, I should have just had it on. Like, it is the most professional thing to do because if you were in the office and you had to go to the meeting, you would be there live and in person. So when you have your meetings on Zoom or what have you, always still be there live, present, and in person. And dress the part. I remember one time somebody came in and sweat, like you could tell they had just worked out.
Oh,
Exactly. And I'm like, really? Really?
I mean, you know what? Honestly, like the hybrid has saved so much time and effort, right? When it comes to like the commuting and stuff. So I think sometimes people can take that for granted.
Yeah.
I just would love for our team or
Yeah.
anyone who's hearing us or watching us
Yeah.
that they continue to do the best they can
Yeah.
because they could honestly say, okay, hybrid is done. We're going fully in person. Now, what are you going to do?
Yes. Yeah. And not only that, when other people look at you and they know, oh, she put in effort to get dressed. She put in effort to have her camera on. She's put in effort at the meeting. You never know if they're like, okay, you know what? Let's promote her or let's put her over here. You just never know. And
Yeah.
taking those extra steps to do this can mean a lot in your career, you know,
Yep.
because people are looking and you just never know who's looking at you. So
Yeah.
that's what I say about that too. So I know you're doing like a lot of amazing things right now. Anything exciting from you coming in the future that we should look out for?
Oh, that's a tough one. I guess, you know, I guess I'm just gonna be, presenting a lot.
Yes,
I'm gonna be attending multiple conferences, and I know we have a presentation together that I'm
yes,
so
you do.
looking forward to. And basically, Ami and the Ami's point, creating webinars that are informative and interesting for our members. For Nale, continuing to grow and expand our chapters.
Hmm.
ACHE, hopefully getting ready to take this exam. I'm a little bit nervous.
Oh, that's
um,
right.
yes, and hopefully, doing well for in the black belt because it's hard to kind of squeeze my time in, but I'm
Hmm.
definitely like, okay, I
Hmm.
invested. This
Yes,
came out of my pocket. I need to get this done.
yes.
And those are my lineups right now. So
Okay.
it's just, prioritizing and just
Hmm.
making time to get like just checking off those boxes, which I look forward to for
Yeah.
the like first 2 quarters of the year.
So are you a planner? Like, do you have like a professional development plan, or do you just be like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that?
Like the only two things I have professionally development thing is just
Mm.
the PhD has been on my mind for like the last 3 years. I
Okay.
see other program coordinators and administrators going that route as well. So
Hmm.
I've just been doing my research as to, which institution or which program to look into. I know some are doing the PhD, some they're doing the educational one, and some are doing the DBAs. So
Okay.
I'm like, okay, which one is best for
Right.
me
Right.
or what school or financially because it's going to come out of my pocket. Um,
Yeah.
and then the black belt. So those are like the
Mhm.
two things that I have lined up. But like I keep everyone, even like the Latina CEO, she told me, she's like, do your doctorate, like start
Yeah.
slow. She's like, just no
Yeah.
pressure. And I'm just like, okay. And then
Yeah.
the FACHE. So
Yes.
because I mean, I've been a part of the American College of Healthcare Execs. I do know the value of the FACHI, and
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, this is gonna be another thing Melissa is gonna add to her name, and it's just
Yeah.
like, it's
I know.
continuing education,
Yeah.
continuing professional development,
Yeah.
professional growth, and who knows what will come of that once, hopefully, God willing, I
Yeah.
receive it.
Yes. Exactly. Like I said, I'll do it for you. Like, that I do everything for me and me only. This is my growth, whether it's personal, professional, educational, me learning. It's growth for me, and I love doing it. I love learning.
Yes, yes, I do. I don't know how I do it, like just
Yeah.
putting it all together. But if you enjoy what you do, you know how that saying goes. If you enjoy what you do, it doesn't
Yep.
feel heavy. It doesn't feel like work.
Yep.
And I love my job,
Yes.
being at Columbia, the work culture, my program
Hmm.
director, everyone in the team.
Yeah.
I'm blessed. I'm happy.
Yes.
Um, and everything else has just kind of fallen in line and just continuing to network, building my LinkedIn connections, learning from each other, engaging. Look at that, like with you and
Yes.
I, within, a
Yes.
few months. So just continuing that path. A lot of us
Mhm.
are going through like the same trajectory, and it's just
Right.
sharing, learning,
Yeah.
communicating, collaborating.
Yes. All the C's.
Yes.
And finally, I know we've asked you a lot of different questions, but we are winding down. But I want to ask you one other question, and it's just purely for fun. If you could take two and only two things with you on a deserted island from your office, what would they be and why?
My office.
Yeah,
What would
I
it
had to
be?
do The Office. I wasn't going to say anything, I want to do The Office so you could think about what it would be.
Okay. To a deserted island.
To a deserted island.
The technology is kind of out already. Um, see.
Oh, right, you can't charge it up.
I would, let's see, what would I take? Okay, this is a really good question.
Hmm.
Doing a deserted island, two things, two
Only
things.
two.
Okay. So I will take I have a calendar, daily calendar that has quotes and days, like the day,
Uh-huh.
and it's like motivational. So
Yeah.
I guess while being on the island, I will be able to know what date I'm in and read the little quote to motivate,
Yes.
right? Keep me
Hmm.
focused.
Hmm.
And then the other thing, I guess I would say hmm, I would bring the picture of my family because I don't know if I'm gonna or not.
Oh. Well, yeah, that you have to do that. You have to do that. Oh, the people that you love. That was a great answer, Melissa. I like that, especially the picture. I want to thank you so much for being on GME Admin Insights, Melissa. It was so fun talking with you today, and I know that my listeners will enjoy hearing your conversation and your growth and all of your accomplishments and what you have to say. So if they want to reach out to you, is LinkedIn like the best way?
Yep, I love LinkedIn. I'm always on it.
I know. That's like the new professional Facebook, you know.
Yes, yes, yes.
It
And
truly is.
I love, like once again, that community and that
Mhm.
camaraderie and just, learning what everyone is up to on a professional setting and just, I love it. I love it.
Yes. Yes. So today you've been speaking with Melissa. She is truly a boss babe. She is a boss babe, handling her business, networking, and growing every step of the way. If you don't know Melissa, then you're living under a rock and you're missing out on a great person. So please check her out on her LinkedIn. And with that, that concludes another enlightening episode of GME Admin Insights. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, your dedication keeps the gears of GME turning. Until next time, community. I think I found her. She's